Life show hosted by Frederick Enteman on Global Voice Radio on Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern. During his show, Mind Body Life founder and best-selling author Frederick Enteman investigates the little-known insights and daily methods used to create explosive life transformations and transitions with those that have risen from struggle and ascended to greatness. Here is your Mind Body Life host, Frederick Enteman.
Welcome to the Mind Body Life show with yours truly. I am Frederick Enteman, and we're already on show number 6. First and foremost, I want to wish everyone a very happy new year and a very prosperous and opulent and positive 2018. I am a former professional athlete. I played basketball in Germany and Lithuania. I'm a best-selling author of Surviving Sports in the Game of Life, a consultant, coach, and a host, again, the Mind Body Life show here on Global Voice Radio. I help athletes, executives, and future leaders achieve mind, body, and life harmony. And in fact, going into January, in case you didn't catch my last episode in 2017, I talk about setting New Year's resolutions, and a staggering 80% drops out by the second week in February. And a lot of that has to do with mindset all the way, but also it's a matter of trying to do too many things all at once. If there's one thing I can recommend, just pick 3 things and really don't overcomplicate, oversimplify your life in 2008. So for example, for your mind, just meditate. For your body, exercise every day. And for your life, hey, maybe you need to journal. Maybe you need to go into walks in nature. Everybody's life different, but you need to figure out what that is, but simplify it. Again, do not complicate this. That's where people get into trouble. And our bodies are so evolved and have survived for so many years that when you present a threat, which overwhelming is, trust me, you'll come up with so many ways for self-sabotage to infiltrate and take over that you will also become that statistic that falls out is the second week in February. But anyway, today on this show, I'm going to talk about pretty much the impact of having a positive mindset and how crucial and critical that is in this day and age, because I don't know about you, but it seems like we're constantly fighting negativity, and it's coming from everywhere, on the media, on your phones, and the radio, and it's never had a quicker way of reaching us before. I think that's a huge source for most people's overwhelmment is we are now in the age of information, right? And so much information is overloading us. And from what I've seen, the majority of that is negative. So I can't stress enough how important it is to have a positive mindset, because it can have such a pronounced impact on the future of oneself. And this isn't woo-woo stuff, people. A positive thinking outlook has scientifically been proven time and time again to have a cellular impact on your mind, on your body, and your life, and your environment. It's really quite a phenomenon. A positive thinking dramatically increases your chances of success in any endeavor. And there's also a differentiation between walking aloofly, like walking on water, and positive thinking. Positive thinking is just an outlook. For example, if you're to wake up first thing in the morning, here in Columbus, Ohio, it was about -11 with wind chill this morning, and I easily could have woken up and, oh my gosh, I can't stand where I live, and this weather's so horrible, and on and on and on. You're kind of creating a mindset or belief system that is not going to necessarily get you off on the right foot. And I would say, as the day goes on and you practice more or less negative beliefs, negative things will certainly come your way. And then you never know in what form, whether that's a spilled cup of coffee suddenly in the morning to a flat tire. I don't wish this upon anyone. Those are just examples. But anyway, just want to repeat again that positive thinking will dramatically increase your chances of success in any endeavor. And it's a practice skill. Having the correct positive mindset can actually turn bad situations into good situations. And the mindset is actually a self-fulfilling prophecy. They go hand in hand. More or less, expected things and good things will happen, and vice versa, like I just said. When you're absolutely sure that you're worthy and that achievement is within your grasp, you'll actually relax and you'll just start looking for solutions rather than dwelling on problems and kind of bathing and soaking in victimization mode. For example, you're more likely to imagine positive situations or outcomes and disregard the thoughts related to giving up or failure or roadblocks, because what the mind expects, it finds. We have somewhat of an internal GPS. Whether you like it or not, our thoughts actually have a lot to do with what shows up in our life. And so if you anticipate joy and good health and happiness and accomplishment, then most likely you're going to experience each one. Again, it really is a self-fulfilling prophecy. I have experienced this. I've seen friends, family, my very own children experience this as well. There are direct correlations. This is not woo-woo. Thinking positively may sound like a simple shift in attention as well, and it actually is. But again, it's a mindset that must be developed. These are skills, and it starts with your thoughts first thing in the morning and last thing right before you go to bed. Let's just look at the definition of mindset. And in the free dictionary, it says it's a fixed mental attitude or disposition that predetermines a person's response to and interpretations of situations. For me, I think when I actually think of mindset, I think of a tendency or habit, a mental inclination, and it's a person's usual attitude or mental state of mentality is what I think of mindset. A person's way of thinking or their opinions and their beliefs. It's an attitude or a disposition that creates the mood. And it's the ideas and attitudes with which a person approaches a situation, especially when these are seen as being difficult to alter, that I think I can personally see the established set of attitudes held by someone. So thinking of that, as I kind of talk out loud here, a bright light bulb went off because I want to present you with a great exercise. Something you can do, because a lot of people don't understand what I'm saying when I say, establishing a positive mindset is a skill. Well, the skill you can develop, actually, first you need to realize where your present thoughts are coming from. So where are your already established set of attitudes, beliefs, or thoughts? If they're getting in your way, you need to get down to the root of that belief system. And we need to dig those out. Where do they come from? How did I possibly create this for myself? Could be generational, could be something that was said in your grade school, parents said, your grandparents said, your whatever it is. You can do your own self-discovery process this month, at the beginning of the year, and get down to those, I call them dirty words, because they're infiltrating your mind, and they're causing blockages, negative blockages. So I think I mentioned the last episode as well. I actually went to school in Germany to work on my doctorate and my PhD, and surprisingly, it was in literature. I have a science background. I also have a literature background. And the school I went to is a very prominent school in the world, the University of Bonn. That's where Friedrich Nietzsche studied, and other great minds. And so I had a huge opportunity to study in Europe. And guess what? Shakespeare is kind of king in English lit as well as European lit. He's still way up there, depending on what country you're in. But you know what? I managed to learn a couple quotes, and one that sticks out of my mind while I'm talking about mindset here. William Shakespeare once said, "There's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so." And I'll say that again, because I hope this sets in for you as it did for me. And William Shakespeare said, "There's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so." And as any of my clients or friends or family will tell you, I'm not really so much interested in what happens to them on any given day per se, because I'm all about individuality within a person. But I am more concerned with how an individual reacts to whatever happens in any given situation. So your mindset plays a key role in determining your reaction as well. And in my experience, it is my experience that the only difference between stepping stones and stumbling blocks is how you perceive them. You know, it's easy to have a positive mindset when everything's going well, but it's those who can turn adversity into an advantage that really tend to endure. And actually, research has shown that most successful people have endured this, taken it under the belt and never given up, and they become the most successful in the long run. So I find that very interesting, because so many of us naturally just want to quit when things get really rough, right? Well, I actually teach my clients, because I personally have been through, trust me when I say, a lot of bumps and hard hard times, hard examples in my life. You know, I teach my clients to look at inevitable setbacks is what I do, not necessarily as disappointments, but rather as more or less aberrations that present life strengthening opportunities that facilitate growth. Because the average human being tends to get discouraged by setbacks, like I already said. And it's as if we are entitled to only good things. I mean, let's face it, here in America, we are extremely fortunate, if not spoiled. Even the lower income is by no means what most of the rest of the world is experiencing. You know, they're very good things happening to us in our lives. And unfortunately, we often dwell on them as victims. And doing so is a choice. But in my experience, it's the wrong one and the self-debilitating one. And that's also something I urge any listener to work on. Listen to your words. Listen to how you speak. There's a whole awareness to growth that a lot of people don't even realize. So maybe you can tape a phone call. Just listen to the words you use. Listen to how you speak. Listen to the tones. Where are you coming from? A lot of times, this little exercise surprise a lot of people. Is the way we speak is behavioral, and if we don't have an awareness about it, we're going to continue to just repeat those patterns, right? Kind of commonsensical. But coming from it from a different awareness standpoint is what personal growth is all about. When I look at adversity as a gift that gives us the chance to work on things that need attention now before they become bigger problems that are more difficult to fix down the road. Now, many people don't realize that the most top performers employ or hire an expert who checks in with them at least once a week to keep their mindset where it needs to be. I love the example of Warren Buffett. Personally, he's not my favorite guy, but he also has a saying that, and it's, in case you don't know who Warren Buffett is, he's a financial investor and trader who's one of the wealthiest individuals in the world. But he continues to think that only good's going to happen to him, and he continues to view investing in himself not as an expense, but as an investment. And he also uses that as an example of we all have blind spots. So the belief that when an individual actually is to hire out per se, they always view it as an expense and not an investment. So it's crucial. It's absolutely crucial in this world to have a trusted outsider's view, because it can offer insights just like the one I share that regularly hit the bullseye, keep you moving forward as efficiently as possible. And efficiency is key. Another thing is, as a professional athlete, I can tell you, just start with the habit of movement or exercise 20 minutes or half hour every single day. You don't need an hour or two in the gym. You just need to build a consistency, and you can increase that time span throughout the months as you get comfortable, as you build your mentality and your tolerance and your strength. Practice always comes first, and then that's going to build your automatic habits. Though perhaps it's somewhat surprising, it's kind of these check-ins with ourselves that are most important, or more important, during times when things are actually going well. That's also what I've seen is, for example, someone hires me and I coach them for 12 weeks, half a year, 1 year, and next thing I know, they're coming back to me going the opposite direction some time down the road, because accountability is a heck of a thing. And it's kind of another blind spot I'm talking about. Is it's important not to lose sight of what got you to the triumphs that you're experiencing. If you want them to continue, the greater your triumphs, the more likely you're going to be surrounded by people who tell you only what you want to hear, and it's never what you need to hear. Let me say that one more time, because it's important not to lose sight of what got you to those triumphs, and whatever that is. I use the example of investing in personal growth because it's an investment that's priceless. Whatever you're experiencing, if you want them to continue, if you want that experience and triumph to continue, the greater your triumphs, the more likely you'll be surrounded by people who tell you only what you want to hear and never what you need to hear. And unfortunately, I've seen many coaches, professional players, and CEOs or executives, even entrepreneurs, fall victim to their ego. When your ego takes over in any situation, really, it complicates things. It leads to poor choices, as the best choices are made when things are simplified, which is why I said at the beginning of this show, you want to oversimplify. Trust me. Having someone to help you to keep your ego in check also plays a very large role in maintaining a positive, growth-oriented mindset. And most people who fall victim to their growing ego do so because it grows so slowly that they're oblivious to the fact that it's taken over their psyche. And one of the, perhaps, maybe I'm being partial, but perhaps one of the greatest minds of all time in American history is Benjamin Franklin, who fell victim to his ego before realizing no one he wanted to be around could even stand spending time with him. And unlike most people, he was actually able to finally see past his ego and make those corrections. Now, this is a very rare and good example of a situation where an ounce of prevention is greater than a pound of cure. It was not too long ago, I was talking to a very successful coach who I'd noticed was falling victim to his ego, and he told me he just finished reading the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin and how much he enjoyed it. And all I could think about was that it was too bad that his mindset was in the wrong place and caused him to miss this message in it that he actually needed most. To become one of the most iconic figures as well in American sports, and trust me when I said I no longer love sports like I used to, but I used to be a baseball fanatic, and I'd collect the cards, and my grandfathers would pass down these old cards to me, and I paid attention to the statistics and the history of the game and the kind of the Americana wrapped up into that. So I'm going to use Jackie Robinson as an example, who really went through the unfortunate adversity of legitimate life threats in order for him to even, stop playing baseball. The players and teammates and coaches and fans, my gosh, using the racial slurs to get him to quit. I mean, can you imagine? Jackie Robinson used his right mindset, and it was his attitude to use those threats and hate mongering as fuel. And he grew up in extreme poverty with, I believe, 6 siblings. I do know he played at UCLA. In fact, I think he was multiple sport athlete at UCLA. Then he joined the military. And while in the military, he got arrested during segregation for refusing to move to the back of the bus. And, Jackie Robinson had the heart and passion and the guts to stand up towards authority in order for his beliefs. And most of all, dignity. Most of all, dignity. Now, Robinson being mentally tough, he blocked out all the negativity as well as the many thoughts of quitting when things got physically and emotionally tough, to overcome and shatter the color barrier in baseball. And I love that story. My grandfather would share that with me a lot. And not only shattering the color barrier in being the first African American in baseball, though, during all that mental abuse, Jackie Robinson received inside and outside the lines. Jackie Robinson used the right mindset, getting back to my point. He used the right mindset, the right attitude, and used the bad situations as motivation to stay focused and driven. And he became Rookie of the Year, and he changed baseball in the views of millions of fans in the culture as we know it forever. It's a perfect outlook of what can transpire when you view life through a positive lens, no matter how grim the situation or how much resistance the world seems to hold up against you. So don't forget, you're always more resilient and powerful than you think, and you truly make a difference at the end of the day. There's only one you truly make a difference. So once you're committed to embracing positive thinking, and that's just one thing out of the entire spectrum, this mindset skill, okay? It's about 20% of the entire game, but it's a start, and you'll start believing that everything that you want is within your grasp, and truly it is within your power to become as happy, content, or successful as you make up your mind to be. A positive mindset might not have an immediate effect on your situation, but it will likely have a profound, if not instantaneous, effect on your mood and the quality of your experiences. Well, definitely, I can say 100%, you wake up in the morning and just embrace one more day at how special and how privileged we are to have what we have, and to have one more day of magic with your life. This is going to increase the quality of your day with that outlook. And in order for positive thinking to change your life, it must become your predominant mindset. I can't say that enough. That's at the end. In order for positive thinking to change your life, it must become your predominant mindset. That is more or less my scoop on mindset. I hope you got a lot out of that, and I hope most of all you start implementing a couple of these tools I threw out there, a couple of my recommendations, as a consultant for professional athletes, for CEOs, for inspiring future leaders who actually hire me for this type of work. This is one of the main things that I cover, and if this is of interest to you and you need some accountability in your life, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to speak to you or talk to you about your goals. Maybe you aren't where you are or where you expected at this point going into this year. When you reflect and look back on last year, and that's okay. Don't judge it. Create the awareness and give me a ring, give me a message. I'm on Facebook, Frederick Intamin. You can always request to be in my Team Mind Body Life group. I'll gladly add you. You can go to LinkedIn. I'm on there as F.E. Intamin. I'm on Twitter, and I'm also on Instagram, all as Frederick Intamin. I really hope you got a lot out of this. I'm wishing you the best and most prosperous 2008. Until next time.
Thank you for joining us. Listen every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern to Frederick Intamin host Mind, Body, Life. Connect with Frederick at www.globalvoiceradio.com. Tune in next week for another edition of Mind, Body, Life on globalvoiceradio.com.